KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global. Let me just get you in shot. Delighted to be joined by Dean Whyte. How are you, mate?
I am good. How are you?
I'm all good. I know you're a bit of a swayer, but when you sway sometimes, you sway out of shot. You do that.
My bad. I'll try and stay still for you.
How's things? What kind of updates can you give us about what's going on regarding some of your fighters?
I'm literally just here trying to pencil the schedule for some of the boys. One, I've got a cruiserweight meant to be out March the 28th, but that's not confirmed yet. Super middleweight maybe out March the 28th. Shakan's out March the 28th. That's 3 fighters already, same day. Shakan is obviously confirmed. I've got Mason Smith, which I signed. He's a 140. He'll probably be out in May, early May. And who else there? Have I missed anyone? I can't think right now. My brain's gonna be blank. But at the minute, I'm just working on, structuring dates for these boys to go out and do their stuff. Some are making their debuts. Some are making their UK debuts because Steve Woodall's done his whole career in America, so he's trying to make his UK debut. So he'll be fighting between March and April, and just so on, man. I'm just grafting. I'm in the gym, healthy, trying to be positive and loving life, man. You know what I mean? We've got to love what we do,
Absolutely. Let me ask you a few opinions on certain things coming up. Obviously, heavily rumoured that Dillian Whyte will take on Alexander Povetkin in April now. Can you kind of shed any light on this?
Well, obviously the cat's out the bag from a little while ago. I think the names what he had on his bucket list or wish list or whatever you call it is diminished. Andy Ruiz is someone he wanted to fight, but if we're looking at practicality and being practical, Andy was overweight for the Joshua fight, and then he hasn't been training and he's lost his trainer. So him trying to take that fight was never really going to happen so quick because obviously he probably just wouldn't be in shape and be ready. But being that size, we still saw he was some form of a threat in there, and he was dangerous because he can box and he's been boxing since a kid. So for me, obviously it left. Povetkin was the next runner-up. And obviously from what I've heard, just like yourself, through media outlets and whatever, Povetkin's nearly a done deal. So that should be happening, sometime in May, maybe April. Obviously nothing confirmed yet until it comes out. It seems a lot of the big cards which Matchroom are meant to be doing seem to be not being announced because obviously you've got Chisora, you've got Joshua seeming to be pushed back till June, Dillian's fight pushed back. So, we got to kind of wait and see what happens, man.
Let's just come back to kind of the Andy Ruiz situation. We know that Eddie Hearn did put an offer to Andy Ruiz for that Dillian Whyte fight. There was a little bit of back and forth on Instagram, I believe, recently where Ruiz made some comments and then obviously Dillian made some comments back to him regarding, an offer was sent. Did you see all that? Yeah,
I saw a little bit of argy-bargy, man, but listen, I don't get myself mixed up in these guys' business too tough until it's fight time. But obviously it's part and parcel of the game, isn't it? They're trying to make a fight, they're trying to sell it to the public, and Andy was pretending that Dillian didn't want no smoke, but they were the ones who initially made the offer, so you can't say someone doesn't want smoke if they made the offer in the beginning. But listen, it is what it is, isn't it? He's got to respond, he's a man, he's going to man up and say, yo, listen, you ain't trying to play me like no buster. Listen, I'm going to respond. So he done his thing, man. Andy will be back maybe later on in the year. You never know what's going to happen. Maybe those two will get it on. But it's a big fight. It's in terms of, if you're talking financial reward, but in terms of you being the WBC mandatory, there's no reward because it's a hell of a fight and you're meant to be trying to fight the winner of Deontay Wilder and Fury. It does nothing for you for that fight because he's too small. You know what I mean? So, it's just one of those.
Obviously, we have got Wilder and Fury coming up on the 22nd of this month, which is quickly approaching. So, your thoughts on this, Dean?
Good fight, man. Listen, you know what? We was all kind of enthralled. I watched it. I was out, actually. I was in a club, and they showed it in there, and I watched it. And I felt like Tyson done enough to get it. I felt like he won most of the rounds. Obviously, the 2 knockdowns made it a lot closer. But the second time round, I think Fury's had a few more fights. And he's added a lot more experience to himself, going the distance on a couple of occasions. And, now he's saying, he's feeling good. He said he's got a nutritionist. he's going to probably come in like about 270, something like that. And he feels like he's going to be stronger and better prepared. And I believe that probably will be the case, because when you think about it, he was actually off for a very long time, and he kind of went into that fight a bit early. So when you look at it like that, they thought they would catch him cold, Wilder and his team, been off. Maybe we go in there, we hit him, he goes down, he doesn't get back up. And he shocked the world that he managed to get up, not once, but twice. So I'm going to be rooting for him. UK, I know he's Ireland, but, still this side of the pond, I'm going to be rooting for him. Any boys from this side, I'm always going to try and wish them well so they can come back and do stuff here with the rest of the boys, Wilder, on the other hand, he's probably maybe looked at the tape and said to himself, well, I started relatively slow in that fight, and he didn't do much in the early rounds because of the feinting and the jabbing and the movement of Fury kind of confused him. But I think if he starts better, maybe he gets a better result. But then that's the same as Fury might say, well, he's actually eluding. He's coming for a knockout in the second round, which is mind-boggling. But let's see what happens. It's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen,
Obviously, we're also expected to hear an announcement soon regarding Joshua's mandatory defence against Pulev. Is this going to be a routine win for Joshua? Can Pulev throw anything, and upset the apple cart?
Boy, do you know what? You see this, this game is quite weird. Like we talk about that when we was talking a little while back before June the 1st when Joshua faced Andy Ruiz. I even said it at the time many times. Andy, stellar amateur. We shouldn't overlook him because he's actually good, he's strong, and he's actually had one suspect lost, And then he went out there and shocked the world and became the first Mexican. He became the first Mexican heavyweight champion in the world. Obviously, Joshua came back and beat him and became two-time world champion. So what we should learn in this game is you can't underestimate anyone. Pulev is someone who's had a stellar career, maybe a bit too small, but the Joshua I saw who beat Ruiz, I can't see him putting up too much problems, Pulev to defeat that kind of Joshua. But because you're fighting a different opponent, what he might do is fight a different style. So he might be a bit more aggressive, be a bit front foot dominant and maybe not move around so much and try to go for the killer instinct as he was, the wrecking machine as he was before. But it just depends what style. But I don't know. I think he might be a little bit too small. He does have a good jab and he's done pretty good out of his career. But I'm not sure there's going to be enough in his artillery that he's going to be able to disable Joshua and take them belts from him.
Dean, I know you was kind of on your way out, so I'm going to let you get on with your day, and I'm sure we'll catch up in due course. So have you got anything else you'd like to add?
No. Just stay focused, watch the Black Box journey. Check out Mason Smith. He's coming for a young boy. I think he's 140-pounder. And the rest of the boys, Ife, he's going to be a cruiserweight lookout. And try and root for Shakan on the 28th, man. And the rest of the boys, Steve Woodall. Black Box to the world, man.
Thank you very much, and we'll catch up soon.
Gold Star Promotions is proud to present Floyd Money Mayweather. The man himself is coming to the UK for his UK tour, February and March 2020. For all info and tickets, Gold Star Promotions.co.uk.